So there I was. I'd just walked out of the tent. I glanced up to the right, along with my mother-in-law and my son, and we saw this massive thing. It was huge. It was absolutely silent. It was just this long disc-shaped thing, and it flipped up on its side and showed us its belly. 10 clear light strips running length to length. We stared at it. I pulled my phone out of my pocket. Before I could hit record, it laid flat and flew off.
Hi guys, welcome to UAP Network. This is a channel built by me and my friend Dave, dedicated to UAP and UFOs with a UK slant. And today I think we're going to get stuck into some personal experiences, aren't we, Dave?
Yes, we are, mate. I can't wait. We're going to share some of my experiences today and what took me along this journey along with you, my friend.
Let's do it.
So before we dive in, I'd just like to touch on a little bit of stuff that's been happening in the industry this week. It's massive again this week. Now, I've been following Third Phase of Moon and Secure Team 10 this week that have dropped some massive videos. So there's been 6 fresh Pentagon drops. I can't wait to dive into those. Kyle, we've been looking at those together offline. Let's come back to those in a couple of weeks. Have you seen anything?
I've seen a few things, but it was weird because when we filmed last week, I remember saying at one point on that video, oh, it's been really, really quiet. And then we obviously had the Obama video, which was then swiftly followed by Trump's retort. And then we end up in this weird situation where everybody's looking at each other going, all right, is this disclosure then? Are we in it?
That's it, yeah.
Like,
it's out.
And it's been on every single... It's been in the news, it's been on the TV, it's been all over YouTube,
yeah.
and there's literally, I would say, more mainstream people picking up on it as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And some absolute massive video drops this week. UFO God dropped that. I mean, I dread to think if that's real or AI. It looks too good to be real. That's all I'm saying, but we'll be sharing that in a couple of weeks. If you guys haven't seen it, go and search UFO God and look at that video, and we'll share it in a couple of weeks. But oh my God, that's all I can say. Oh my God.
It's been nuts. And I think the only other one to mention that I saw, and I sent this to you on a message, I follow Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, and they've got their own podcast, Weaponized, and because they've been consistently sharing drops time and time again. And they did one recently where it showed the instantaneous acceleration, and that was freaky.
Bonkers.
Like, people are saying it's the best evidence.
Yeah.
Best evidence that people have seen. Crazy.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy, Kyle. I can't wait to share those with you guys in a couple of weeks. Like I say, we're not diving into that today, sadly. However, we're still early in our channel journey. So, we definitely want you guys to start sharing some content. We'll drop, again, the contact details so you can get in touch with us. If you've got any great videos that you've seen anywhere, drop us an email, let us know, and we can add them to the channel. Let's grow the community together, because this will be stronger together. Let's get the knowledge out there and get sharing it.
Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. So with that, Dave, I think we're going to jump into some of your experiences. And we're going to play this off the cuff, just like it's me and you on a normal call. And I'm really keen to kind of see where this conversation goes and what I can learn from your experiences. You've given me the headlines, you've not given me the detail. And I think if we do this almost like in a... what's the word? Like from an earliest to the latest, and you kind of get stuck into all the nitty-gritty details and kind of go from there.
Sure.
So with that in mind, can you give me the backdrop of the first thing that happened? Because I know you've had 3, right?
I have. I've had 3. I think I've had 4, but this is where you question yourself. I think I had one driving to Leeds a couple of months back. My dash cam will have definitely caught it, but it was just an orange thing in the sky. Like an orange orb, like we were talking about last time. But I just dismissed it. It must have been an aeroplane. So, maybe I should have looked at the footage, but hey-ho, that's on me. However, the rest are easy.
I want to know about that one as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end then. So, I was probably about 13, 14, 15, I can't remember exactly. I was quite young. I was in the Army Cadets, so here in the UK, it's a bit like kind of, Boy Scouts in America and stuff. We have the Army Cadets. And we also have kind of Cubs and Scouts and stuff, but I was in the Army Cadets, and we were at a place in Sheffield called Totney Rangers. So this was great. We were there for a weekend of camping. There was me and a bunch of my friends, and we were camping out late on this Saturday night. We'd been out kind of walking all over the countryside on the Saturday in the daytime, kind of hiking. We'd come back, as a youngster, you spend your time kind of, staying up as late as you can, just messing around with your buddies. We weren't doing anything, naughty. We weren't being naughty. We were just chatting, doing stuff that young kids do. Just chatting, having a laugh. Middle of the night, decided needed to nip down to the toilet. It was away from where we were camping, probably, a 5-minute walk away from the big fields where we were. So me and my friend, we were like, safety in numbers, middle of the night, let's go together. So a young lad called Nicky, I won't full name him, I do remember his full name, we walked down to the toilets together. And as we were walking down, it was really quiet, super pitch black. It's just on the edge of the countryside, so you can imagine it's properly dark. We needed our torches. Totally silent. Everybody else was asleep, apart from me and him. And then it was a super clear night, stars full in the sky. On the left-hand side, a bit of a hill, and there was an observatory, like a telescope observatory, just sat on the left-hand side, just up on this hill. Never really see them, but there was one there. I don't think it's there anymore, but it was certainly there then. And as we're looking up at the observatory, walking down the hill, this massive triangle craft, equal triangle shape, absolutely huge, super low, completely silent, just comes over the top of us. A light on each corner and a big purple pulsing light right in the middle of it. Absolutely ginormous. And it just came over us really slowly and just carried on going. It didn't stop, didn't make a noise, didn't hit anything, like it was higher than the observatory. I've never seen anything that big in my entire life. And we looked at each other and went, what? Did that really just happen? It was before the time of smartphones. I probably had a camera with me, but I didn't have it with me going to the toilet at 3 o'clock in the morning, so there was no chance of a photograph. But my God, and that just stuck with me forever. I remember it, it as clear as day, like it was yesterday.
What time of year was it?
It would have been summertime. We'd never really camped kind of, in the winter, certainly not properly tenting. So it would have been, summertime, really late, quite a nice warm night, walking around kind of t-shirt, shorts type vibe.
So I'm just trying to, because one of the things I was thinking of, how the contrast of how it stood out.
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning, summertime. It's naturally going to be getting a little bit lighter, right?
Yeah.
So
it's that
you're not going to be getting sunrise,
twilighty. Yeah. Really clear night.
And how high would you have said it was?
I think from us, it was further than the kind of peak of a normal UK house. It was probably double that height away from us, because it was not close enough to touch. You know what I mean? I don't think it didn't feel like we were going to get abducted. But it was close. It was close to make you go, oh wow, that's not just a little light in the sky and you're questioning yourself. This was true.
Yeah,
I've seen something and I can describe it very clearly. And 25, 30 years, maybe 27 years later, it's still in my mind as a solid memory.
Yeah.
Fully, I can recall it. I can describe it. Mind-blowing.
What was the atmosphere like? I'm just trying to put myself in that position, because obviously, this is something that I would love to see.
Yeah.
My experiences that about, that I know we're going to touch on at a later point, are very, very different to yours. What you're experiencing is probably what I would
crazy,
like to experience. Yeah. It's like I'm trying to put. I can imagine you walking down, the ambient sounds, the feel of the air, the fact that it doesn't take off like a rocket. There's no mistaking what it is, and obviously the height means you're not mistaking a balloon.
No, of course. And exactly that. I think you always doubt yourself and second guess yourself. And I think we had the luxury of having each other there, and we were able to talk about it and both go, wow. Do you know what was funny though? We didn't tell anybody about it the next morning. We tried a couple of people and they were like, nah. And back then, the perception was you're probably a bit crazy if you're describing something like this. So we hung on to it.
Without giving your age away, Dave, how long ago are we talking?
I mean, that was in the mid-90s for sure. Probably early to mid-90s. Let's say it like that. Yeah.
It's not something that would have been.
No.
It's not something that would have been spoken about. No,
look,
definitely not.
The Discovery Channel was there, and I think to come back to your question, because I haven't answered that, like the ambient feeling. I mean, it was a warm summer's night, and it was just silent.
Yeah.
The birds weren't up yet. Like, it was quiet on the campsite. It was quiet in the area. It's away from, like, the thoroughfare of roads and stuff. So there was no road noise or anything. So it was just silence. Like, there wasn't, like, a hum of it going overhead. Like I say, it was just completely silent. And I think that was the thing that was most, like, wow. Like, obviously, I've seen jets. I've seen, commercial aircraft. I'd seen military aircraft. Like, my father was in the forces. Like, I grew up around army bases, going in massive, like, Hercules planes, helicopters and stuff as kids, as we used to go to all the army open days and all that sort of thing, plus, like, whatever my dad was taking us for. There was always something. So I've been around a lot of military equipment, and, they're really noisy, all of them. So everything that we know about, you can go, well, it wasn't that.
Here's an interesting one. Did you stay in touch with the guy? And did you ever speak about it after?
I think we did for a long time. And it was funny because a number of times in my life, like, he had an older sister. And, I either met up with his older sister through, a boyfriend of hers or something, and then she'd just pop up, or he'd just pop up. We had very different lives in the end. But, I've not seen him for years, but certainly going into my kind of earlier 20s, I'd seen him a number of times, and we did talk about it, and we were both still like, yeah, I can't believe that happened.
I'm going to ask, I mean, you think Black Triangle, you don't, I mean, some people would naturally think, oh God, it literally is extraterrestrial UFOs, but you get stuck into the lore, and what you tend to hear is the Black Triangles often refer to alien reproduced.
Of course, yeah. TR3B.
It's often used now is TR3B, and the wider term that's used these days is ARVs.
Yeah.
No missing time. You didn't have that at 3 o'clock. Look at your clock, and then the next minute's 5 a.m.
No, not that I know. I don't think so. What is interesting, I think, seeing the footage now of what we're calling TR3Bs, they look so much like what I saw. Especially one where the light's kind of a similar colour to what I've got my recording light set up to. Like, when I'm seeing the TR3Bs and the light colour is like that colour, or like the purpley pinky colour, I'm like, I swear that's what I saw. Like maybe it was. We just don't know, do we? Because nobody's telling us the truth. No. We don't know. Is that, man-made, reverse-engineered craft that's, owned by the UK military, and they would just test the test flight, Imagine. They're not going to tell
me. Or is it the US? Is it the US test flight?
Of course.
Because there was talk about the TR3B being stationed in the UK in the 90s. That was often talked about. And it would often be seen. People would often see similar things up in Scotland.
Yeah.
There's loads of reports of that, which is, I mean, it's one of the weird ones, because it's funny. It's like when we were talking about some of the stuff that I started to dig into in the reports. You just see the triangles were very minimal. I'm wondering how that kind of explodes when we look back. But it's interesting that's what you saw. For anybody that's watching this too, it's worthwhile going and Googling a gent called Dylan Borland. Dave, I'm assuming you probably know who Dylan is. He was a whistleblower that testified to Congress last September.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about what you're describing, Dave, is his experience about what he saw is almost identical to what you saw.
It's crazy, isn't it?
But bar one thing, which is the purple light.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Yeah. It is. It's crazy.
He describes things such as, like, almost like the smell of the air changed.
Okay.
Like it smelled as though just after a thunderstorm. Really kind of vapor kind of descriptions of
Okay.
how the atmosphere felt after he'd seen
Yeah.
it. The big, like I said, no purple light, but what he described was black triangle, blacker than the night.
Yeah.
It stood out against the night sky, but it had almost like a plasma golden lava that was going around it. But you don't know. I mean, this is back in the 90s. I think his was in the 2000s.
Yeah.
It obviously seems like there is some tech that's been built on.
Yeah.
You saw a black triangle, man. I'm jealous,
mate. I think if I could transport you back in my mind and show you, you'd know that it was real, because I know it was real, and it's really hard because I've talked about this a few times in 27 years. Because it's not a safe space to talk about this stuff. Even now, I'm a little bit reticent,
Definitely
but we promised each other that we'd share these experiences, and we're going to share, for all of you guys, we're going to share your experiences too, and that's really important. And we want to be really candid. If you want to take the mick and poke a bit of fun, cool, I can live with that. I've got a thick skin, that's all right. Like we said in the last video, we're not here wearing our tinfoil hats, we're here with curiosity. I have experienced these things. I've not been abducted by aliens. I've not been experimented on, to my knowledge. I could be. Maybe I'm a bit weird. However, I've experienced seeing these things, whatever they are, and I've seen a few of them, all very different. But there's no judgment here. UAP Network is not about judgment. It's about curiosity. So remember that. Please don't be shy. Do share in your experiences.
My personal request is that you definitely think about that when I start to share some of mine, because mine are on the weirder side, and they are a little bit strange. So, but we'll get there.
There's always crossover.
Not now.
There's always crossover. I know that for sure.
So, I mean, what was the time span between this experience and your next experience?
Years. Absolute years. Years and years and years. So,
did you? Had you forgot about the previous one?
No, I never forgot about it. And I think, like I touched on in our last video, our first video, right? That was probably one of the things that sparked the curiosity more. I'd always been curious. I am a curious lad. I think I probably dove in deeper to the documentaries and stuff. Like, there wasn't a lot around. We were, mid-90s, Discovery Channel. I do remember the Cousins brothers being around, doing interviews and stuff. They're now on like Third Phase of Moon, running their own YouTube channel very successfully. But they were on documentaries back then. Stephen Greer, the big names were being interviewed. Some of the guys that are probably a little bit more debunked now as well were around. But that was kind of the only place you could get this content. It was, the Discovery Channel here, on UK cable television, kind of satellite television. So that was where I consumed the content. And I think just kind of going through that, keeping my eyes on the skies, right? Like, it never changed. However, the next incident was completely unexpected. So I'd taken my family camping. I think what is interesting is generally they're quite rural, the experiences where I've seen the things in much bigger view than maybe like the final two. So the first one, very rural, right on the edge of Sheffield as a city, right on the border of the countryside. The thing headed into the countryside, not into the city. We could see the city on the right-hand side, countryside on the left, and it went that way. This next experience, so we were in a place called Matlock, which is not too far from Sheffield. It's kind of Nottinghamshire, kind of Robin Hood country for those guys not from the UK, or if you are from the UK, Robin Hood country, in the woodland there. So a little place called Mansfield. It's kind of within the Nottinghamshire kind of boundary area. And I'd taken my whole family, so my two eldest children, my youngest, my wife and my mother-in-law camping. We got this massive tent, all 10 of it, like it's 10 person tent. We can all sleep in it for a week. And we'd gone for a week away camping in and around Matlock Bath, which is a beautiful part of England. We'd been camping, And it was kind of coming to around probably about 9 o'clock. We were starting to think about getting ready, getting the kids ready for bed, going for kind of final ablutions, and then heading back, zipping up the tent and getting in your sleeping bag. It had gone properly dark. We played some games. My eldest child, myself, and my mother-in-law walked out of the tent. We were heading down. And as I stepped out of the tent, I don't know what made me look. I just looked to the right, and our tent is like a big tunnel tent, so it's, just looks like a long sausage roll, right? And the back of it was up to the tree. So I walked out of the door, coming out of the side, looked to the right where the trees were, like it was just kind of tall bushes, and this massive craft. I'm just going to call it a craft. It was like what you'd imagine a saucer to be. It was dark against the silhouette of the horizon, and I was like, whoa. And I said to those two as they'd come out, I went, look at that. And they both turned and looked, and we were all like, wow. And then this thing just turned up on its end, so it was flat like this facing us, and it turned like this and showed us its belly, and there was literally turned like this, like it stood up, and it was just this massive circle with these bright orangey white orb strips of light running end to end across the disc. So obviously where the disc was its widest circumference, the strips of light were the longest, and then it was, almost tapered round each side. Perfectly patterned, and it just sat there for a second. I had my phone, and I was like, I'm going to get this. I'm struggling to get my phone out, struggling to open the camera app. By the time I got it up and hit record, the thing had laid down, and it just shot off into the distance. And I did get the footage of it just disappearing over the trees. It was very grainy footage. It was dark. I need to find the footage. It's on a hard drive.
You need to find the footage.
I'll try and dig it through. I definitely took the video, but like I say, you couldn't see this part. You could only see it kind of taken off over the trees, and it just looked a bit abstract. It was silent, but this thing, was lower than a house because the trees weren't that high.
Oh, there's no mistaking this.
No. So it was below house level here in the UK. So a 2-story brick built house. What's that? 10? No, probably 20 meters or something. 25 meters.
20, something like that.
Yeah, I'd guess. So it was lower than that. There was 3 of us staring at it. Absolutely silent. Not a noise. Just the campsite noise around us, and it just shut off. And we all went and told the rest of the family in there. They were like, "Nah, you're kidding us!" And showed them the video. They were like, "Oh wow, I wonder what that was." And then over the years, my mother-in-law's kind of gone, "Nah, it must have been a plane." And I've always gone, "You've seen an aeroplane and you've heard an aeroplane. If we were that close to an aeroplane, because we've all boarded an aeroplane on the runway, and she's travelled loads, we would have been deaf." Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, it's weird, isn't it? Because if you think about when you're walking across a runway, when you haven't got the air bridge, you're going to be just as close to an aeroplane.
Exactly.
With the height that you've recognised there.
Exactly.
You're going to know it's not a plane. It's and what did we say last week? That rational side of your brain talks you out of what you're actually seeing, right?
Yes.
You can't compute it.
100%. 100%. My eldest, my son, he remembers, and we openly talk about it, and he is a bit like, I still don't know if I believe it, whereas I'm a bit like, no, I fully believe it. That was my second time, and I didn't doubt myself the first time. I got 2 under the bag then. I think to see it with family members, exactly, but it was so different in terms of its size, its shape, but like I say, that movement in it, and then the leveling out and just taking off, like that speed, any known vehicle, human made, even an electric car, you can hear no noise.
there's a way in which you can judge the distance between you, the horizon, and the time it takes to disappear to kind of figure out how quickly it's going. But one of the key things to say is, even a fighter jet going full tilt,
yes,
you're gonna be deaf.
Yeah.
You're gonna be seeing it for a while for it to go that quick.
Yes.
And this comes back to one of the things we kind of very briefly mentioned last week, which was the 7 observables, of which, and for anybody that's not watching, the 7 that's not watching. For anybody that's watching that doesn't understand what the 7 observables are, the 7 observables were coined by Lou Elizondo. He used to head up ATIP for the US government. He came up with these categorization methods for potential sightings. The kind of rule of thumb is, if you see one or more of these characteristics when you're observing an object, it's more than likely to be something anomalous. We're not saying it's alien, we're not saying it's extraterrestrial, anything like that. You're seeing something that's truly anomalous. Instant acceleration is one of those.
Exactly.
And there's also another one around, and I forgot the word, god damn it, around how it manoeuvres. And you've seen 2 of them. Never mind the fact that the craft did not look like a plane. You've seen 2 observables, maybe even more. 2 questions. First question, you said your eldest boy saw it. Has he experienced anything else since?
I don't know. I'll ask him next time I see him.
I'd be really keen to know, because
he's in his 20s now.
They don't tend to happen on one-off.
He's living a great life, doing what 20-year-olds do. So next time I see him, I'll ask him. It's Mother's Day in a couple of weeks here in the UK, so I'll definitely see him there. So I'll pin him down and ask him. Great question.
Another one of the questions that kind of comes to mind for me as well is, they do say that when people get within a certain amount of distance of these things, there are effects that happen to people too. Did anything medically happen to anybody that took the sighting, or were everybody completely fine?
I think we were all fine.
You've never been asked that, have you?
I've never been asked that, and I've never really thought about it. I don't think there was any adverse effects. We were camping for a week. Even if we did, we wouldn't have put it down to that. That's for sure. Yeah.
Fair. What was the colour of it? Was it like a silver? I mean, you've seen 2 now.
Yeah.
You've seen a black triangle and a disc.
I think it was hard to make out. Obviously, it was contrasted against a dark sky. I would have said it was black. The colour of the lights was like a warm white kind of colour. But like I say, very square, rectangular strips of light, like very uniform, all running in parallel to each other. Like, not what I'd typically envisage, and that was the thing that was most stark for me, because I'm picturing a UFO, I'm picturing a TR3B, I'm picturing, do you know what I mean? And the lights in the sky that you see are generally different colours. So to see something where the colour was more towards what I'd expect to see here, I found that kind of strange, but the movements didn't tally up with an aeroplane or a helicopter or even a drone. Drones weren't really a thing then. They were maybe just starting to be a thing. But for the size and the scale and the silence of it, like, it would have been, even like your little first-person view drones that they were chasing around the Olympics with, the noise of them, you can hear it even on the Olympic footage. They make a kind of really high-pitched whir of the motors and the propellers. And I've played with some drones, Kyle. I know you're quite into drones as well. Like, I've built a couple of FPV drones, and they are noisy things. Even the little tiny ones, they're noisy. It wasn't one of those. So it wasn't an aeroplane, it wasn't a helicopter, it wasn't a drone in my mind. I've never seen a balloon move like that, and I think they're the things that I'd rule out and make me go, it's unexplained.
But it's the distance to you and it as well. Like, you've got nothing impeding your view. This thing manoeuvres in front of you. You just kind of look at it and go, that is not anything that I've ever seen before.
Exactly.
And you can start talking about, well, they did have aviation lights. Dude, this thing was circular, it turned on its side, it showed its belly with all these different lights, and then shot off at a speed that's not possible after hovering.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't even matter if it
didn't have aviation lights.
It doesn't even... Yeah, it doesn't even factor into the conversation because it seems like it was just so close to where you were.
Yeah.
What about, did you feel scared?
No, not scared, but a bit like, wow, startled,
Yeah.
kind of taken aback, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So, and how long ago was that one?
Probably less than 10 years, more than 5.
So, there's 2 situations here where you've observed it with other people.
Yeah.
You've seen these things. You've probably had the battle with your rational self as that's happening, but you're still coming back to the fact that, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. What we saw. You're not saying what it is. You're just saying
This isn't
what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes it quite definitely believable. Because I mean, I know you because like this is not something you would make up, especially in our industry. Right? No. You don't make these things up. We'd be laughed at.
And like I say, like this isn't something I share ever. Like this is my own private stuff. My wife knows about this. My mother-in-law knows about this, and my son knows about this because they were there
until now, and it's up on YouTube.
Well, them's the breaks.
Hey,
the choices we made.
We're brave.
What we agreed to do was not take any judgment, not give any judgment, and that's okay. We're just talking about this from a curiosity perspective, guys, and like we've talked about already. I won't say the same things again. It's really important. I'm sharing this to share a bit of vulnerability. Look, I'm going to talk about this. If you think I'm crazy, I'm really sorry. I'm not crazy.
And to re-emphasize your point from earlier as well, Dave, like if anybody's seen this, something similar, and you're like, wow, I saw some. We actually do want to hear from you.
Definitely.
We actually want to start pulling dots together.
Yes.
Because this is the whole reason why we're doing this, is to try and understand it a little bit better. Without the US slant, we want to look at it and kind of see what's happening around us.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that is startling, and I'm going to mention our previous video.
Yeah.
Is how similar that is to one of the stories that I picked up
when you were reading it out. Yeah, very similar. Yeah. The guy in Scotland, I believe, that was. I think it was Scotland.
I forgot the place.
Yeah. I forgot the name of the place.
The situation was very similar. He's outside.
Yes.
It'll come back to me at some point. He's
Cardigan.
outside on his own. Party happening. Object comes in at a slow speed, stops, tilts. Shows light underneath it.
Yeah.
Goes back to its normal position before carrying on. Does it shoot off?
No.
The same speed. It kind of just carries on a similar kind of pace.
Yeah. Bizarre.
So you've had that experience, and then you've got me telling you about that experience about something that's really, really similar. What does that bring to mind? Like, there's other people seeing the same thing as you.
Yeah. That's what I thought when we were reading that through last week, and obviously we knew we were going to do like a little series around these things, and therefore I didn't want to give the game away, but I think when I was listening to that, Kyle, obviously you put a lot of time and effort into that research to allow us to do that video. I was really surprised when that was one of the ones that you picked out. Obviously we looked at the video whilst we weren't recording, looked at the data whilst we weren't recording, just working out which ones it was that we were going to focus on. And when you talked about that one, I obviously stayed quiet, but I thought, oh my goodness, that was very similar to what I experienced. So it would be really interesting to know if it was the same thing. So if you're watching, Mr. from Scotland, let us know. Drop us an email. Let us know. Was it the same thing? Have I described the same thing as you've seen? Because that'd be mind blowing.
And the distance as well. Because if we were saying this is like towards the end of the 90s, that we know was 2009.
Yeah, which would have been around that time. Just trying to think.
Really?
I'm sure my youngest was born, but she was born in. I won't give her personal information away. She was born after 2009. So I'm not sure that tallies, but it doesn't mean like it could have just been. It's a similar time period. She would have still been quite young. Mind blowing.
So everything goes quiet, and then what happens then?
So it's gone, and then that was it. It was just gone. Obviously, we're just left.
But then you've got
the video.
So how many years go by until the next situation?
So the next situation was probably around 8 years ago from now. So probably not too
That one
many,
gets us to
not too many years.
2017-ish?
Yeah, broadly. It was before COVID. I was still working in Sheffield, which is the city I live. I wasn't commuting because I saw something as I was driving into Sheffield City from where I live. So there's like a big kind of dual carriageway. Those in America, your freeways are kind of similar. So we have like a dual carriageway. It's a bit like a motorway, but it's just like an artery into a city, right? Um, so I was driving down like one of the main ones that take you into Sheffield, and there's quite a large kind of well-known building for a big UK corporation that's just on the edge of that road, driving into the city. The Capita building. It's got like a bit of a funny
Oh, I
shape on
don't
top
know.
of it, yeah. And I was just kind of coming kind of to that area. So this road's called the Parkway. I was driving down there, and the moon was still up in the sky, and I think that's what had caught my eye. Oh, the moon's still up, and I've just been like glancing up at it as I was driving along, just me in the car, driving into the city centre to go to work. So it was quite early in the morning. It was light, but it was kind of that dusky light. Do you know what I mean? First thing in the morning, kind of towards. It
Yeah.
probably would have been autumn time. Um, Moon still in the sky, full moon, and then just at the side of the moon was this perfectly silver, shiny ball, much smaller than the moon, but just sat in the sky. I was like, what is that?
What?
And I had my glasses on, so I could definitely see, because for anybody that knows me, sometimes I won't wear my glasses. I'm wearing contact lenses today, so I can see you all. But sometimes I won't wear my glasses, and I was quite bad for it when I was younger. Um, but I had my glasses on, I was driving, I was taking it seriously, and I could just see this thing in the sky. So I kept like glancing up at it. I'm like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. There's like a silver ball in the sky. And I was just looking at it, and it just sat, not moving, no lights, no nothing. It's just this silver ball. And it was just sat there. So I'm getting closer and closer down to town, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to drop behind the buildings here and not be able to see this anymore. So I keep glancing up, five or six or seven glances, and then I glanced up and it had just gone. I didn't see where it had gone. It just wasn't there anymore. I was like, oh my
Let
god.
me get this straight. Let me get this straight. Black triangle,
Yeah,
actual disc. Then you're seeing.
an orb.
I mean, sounds like something like a Booger sphere.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they've been seen all over, right? For a long time.
Yeah. You're almost at like Fuller House.
Well, no footage.
You just need a
I was by
you need a
myself.
jellyfish and an orange
I
orb.
mean, I'd love to see a jellyfish. So there was no footage. I was by myself. I didn't talk to anybody about it. I did tell my wife about it, and she just tells me I'm seeing things, or like the loving wife that she is. All right, stop going on about it. Like, we've got real business to attend to here, Mister. Okay, all right, and like a good husband, I'll just get on with it. But genuinely, I just remember being like, wow, I can't believe it. I've seen another one.
Yeah.
I love it.
Have you seen the silver orb at Manchester Airport?
I have seen the video, yes. Yes.
How have you seen the still? Does the still look anything like what you saw?
Yes.
Because that is
Identical.
the weirdest thing.
Yes.
Never.
Yeah. They're so weird. It's so hard to
It's
describe.
got like when you mentioned it, that's the first thing I thought. Because obviously, anybody who doesn't know, Manchester Airport's quite close to me, Dave.
Yeah.
It's probably our closest airport, really, for one doing any international travel. And that was, what was it, last year?
Yeah.
Pilot is on the runway, taxiing towards the runway. He takes a video. There's a silver orb in the sky, and it drops, hovers above the runway before shooting off again. But he got a photo of it, and it is like an actual ball, but it's almost got like little two prongs off it and a circle
Yeah.
in the middle. And that was the first thing I thought of when you just said you saw a silver orb
Yeah.
next to the Parkway. That's mad.
It's crazy, isn't it?
That's insane.
Yes. So
And then
it was off in the distance.
What's your thoughts when you're seeing it?
What is it? What is it? Am I seeing something? Is that a reflection? The moon's there? Because it was, almost right at the side of the moon. Is that next to the moon? What is it?
Yeah.
Like, and obviously I'm trying to drive, not crash my car. It's a 50-mile-an-hour road. like. So
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going slowly. Obviously, the closer I get to town, there's a bit of speed restrictions, and I have to slow down and such. But yeah, just what is it? What is that? I wish I could stop and take a photograph. Like, I can't stop on that road, so I just had to keep driving. But if I could have stopped, I did have a camera phone. I would have been able to take a picture. But obviously, as I say, as I kind of got closer to the city centre, was pretty much there. Looked up and it wasn't there anymore, so it just disappeared.
What was traffic like? I mean, were there any other cars?
There was
quite
other
early,
cars.
on the Parkway being quite quiet.
No, there was other cars. It's whether they would have seen it. Obviously, they're not going to stop the dual carriageway. You know, it's not really a kind of stopping kind of road. I think it's a no stopping sort of road, so you're not allowed to stop on it unless you break down. So there was nobody there to talk to, but equally, I was going into work. I didn't go into work and say, "Hey guys, did anybody see that flying saucer, disc, round, ball, orb thing in the sky up there this morning?" Because they would all laugh me out of work. So I just didn't say anything to anybody, apart from my wife.
There's like so many different things that have been mentioned about these things as well. All you've got to do is kind of go to that UFO podcast and things like that,
Yeah.
and they mention
Yeah.
these sightings of these particular ones. I think the frustrating thing is as well, because obviously the time that you're talking about when you saw this, the UFO desk had just stopped.
Exactly.
So there's no way you can corroborate with anybody else. Although there are some UK websites that are built for UFO reporting. That might be something for me to dig into if I get time.
Interesting.
Try and find out if there's anything around that 2017 period.
Yeah.
In and around the Sheffield time.
It's
because people have seen it.
Yeah.
So that disappears. You just got to work.
You can't do it anymore. Literally, just go to work. Get on with it.
Hell? No visits from men in black suits.
Not that I've seen. No.
No clicks on the phone.
No.
Yeah, well, maybe one day, Dave. These things they seem to hang around you, mate.
I've not got any scars on my body that I can't explain. So that's good, and I'll be grateful for that, because hearing the stuff that goes on for the poor folks that live in America, and some of the experiences that they have, I'm happy just to see some things in the sky and question what they are. That for me is good. Yeah. I don't want any grey aliens coming to knock on my door. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird because that kind of stuff did come up while I was over in Italy, and I think I said to you some of the people that I spoke to. In fact, I texted you when
you did,
because I did have a very, very brief email exchange with Whitley Strieber.
Yeah.
Probably the most important abductee-related case. For anybody that's watching who doesn't understand or recognise the name, all you've got to do is Google Communion.
Yeah.
The rest is history. Just go research. He is. You hear the stories that people like him go through on a day-to-day basis. You wonder how the hell they cope. I mean, you've seen things in the sky. Yeah. I would love to see that kind of stuff. I'd also love them to knock on my door. Maybe one day.
You're bigger than me, Kyle. You can take it. I'm going to run. I'm shorter than you. That's all good.
If you think about it, though, like it will come down to at some point someone, and I mean, the prime candidate for me would be Chris Ramsey of Area 52.
Yeah.
And he openly says every time he does one, he would love to give that first interview with someone from somewhere else.
Yeah.
He's got an open invitation. He's probably the coolest guy to do it, but someone's got to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
Someone has to.
We'll let Chris Ramsey do it, mate. That's what I'll say.
So that's 2017, and then you say, what? How many months ago? 18 months ago? Something?
No, not even that. A couple of months. A couple of months ago.
So you need to explain this one to me, because after last week, again, minimum 55% of all the sightings seen in November only of 2009 were orange orbs, and then you've seen an orange orb a few months ago.
Maybe I saw an orange orb. So
tell me more.
So as you know, I talked about it. I live in Sheffield. I travelled to Leeds, which is about an hour's drive north from Sheffield. So I drive up the M1, which Kyle delightfully called the most exciting motorway in Britain last week. I'm pretty sure they were his exact words. It's a very boring motorway, but it's quite nice. It's quite a steady drive. So I was driving up the M1, and as I was getting closer to Leeds, I was probably about 10 minutes away from Leeds, kind of on the motorway. There's an airport in Leeds, Bradford sort of area, so you do see a lot of planes coming in. And I did see a plane, and then I saw this orange light, which I assumed was a plane, but didn't seem to take the same path as the plane, just moving across the skyline from the right-hand side to the left-hand side of the motorway. Wasn't going particularly fast, probably going about the same speed as a plane. And the only reason that it made me question it is it went back after.
What?
Yeah, so it took the same path as the plane, but then it came back the other way.
Yeah.
And that made me go, oh, maybe that wasn't a plane. And with the planes that I could see in the sky on that very dark winter's morning, so this would have been, I think it was before Christmas. So it would have been late, kind of November, early December time, early in the morning. So I set off at, about kind of 5:45 in the morning here in the UK. So I'm on the road. I'll be on the motorway between 6 and 6:30 or so, getting to Leeds, there or thereabouts. So it would have been between 6 and 6:30 in the morning, absolute dark. Obviously, lighting on the motorway, all the car lights around me and stuff. So it was bright enough that I could see it, even with all of that kind of light pollution, for want of a better way to describe it. But it came across the sky this way, and then what I assumed was the same thing went across the sky the other way, in about the same proximity, like eye line, at about the same height.
And this is happening quick, right?
It wasn't particularly quick.
Driving,
yeah, I mean, it wasn't particularly quick. It was quicker than the planes.
Right. I'm just thinking with it doing a turn.
No, it was almost like it took the same path coming backwards.
Right. Whoa.
But
okay.
I just assumed it was a plane. I just assumed it was a plane.
But did it have the aviation?
No.
So it's not a plane.
But that's me rationalising it to myself. It was a plane. It must have been a plane.
This is me.
You know what I mean?
I'm being the outside voice and going, did it have the red and green? If it don't have,
it didn't.
I mean, the only way you would get away with that is because I've often seen planes, because I see them all the time over the M60 because I do live in Leeds.
Yeah.
And when you're coming back, and I've been caught out by this because I see them, like if I'm sat in my front room, I can look through the window, I can see it. And normally they're side on, so you'll see the green and the red.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they take a different path, if they turn around, you'll see just the white light, which is their front light.
Yes.
But if you see it from the back, it would be white as well. But it's never orange.
No.
It's white,
right.
red or green.
And we're on the path for Manchester Airport. Like, we know, like, Sheffield's at the side of Manchester, so we get the planes coming over, heading for Manchester.
Yeah.
So we see them at, like, different altitudes, and I totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, that's wild. That really is wild. Because I actually think you've seen 4.
Maybe. And that will have been on my dash cam. I don't know if it'll still be on my dash cam.
You've got some homework. You've got to ask your son if anything's happened to him before. You need to hunt for the footage from your previous one, and also hunt for the orange. You're going to be busy, mate, for next week.
I don't know if I'm even going to even dig into the dash cam, because it's one of those where it records over itself. So I guess that will have been gone.
Damn it.
It might not have been, but I guess it will have been gone from kind of that time. I will look for the footage from when I was in Matlock, because I definitely took a video, and that will be on one of the hard drives where the family photos are.
I've kind of really enjoyed you sharing these, to be honest, because again, we kind of come with different experiences, right?
We do.
You've seen very physical things, and again, like, I don't know when we're going to do mine. We'll probably need to break it up.
Okay.
I think mine might make people heads explode. So yeah, that's a lot happening over a prolonged amount, but very different ones as well.
Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous, Dave, to be honest. I would love to have seen some of this stuff. I need to hang around. You need to come to Leeds more, and then we can have dinner a lot more, and then I just hopefully indirectly get to see something with you. That'd be great.
I'll tell you
That'd
what.
be super duper.
We can go out to location to where I saw the thing in Totley Ranges, and we can go and have a look
Let's
around
do
and
that.
see how it looks now, and then I can re-describe it for the folks that are watching and tuning in, and we can have a bit of a look. Maybe we can get
100%.
AI to animate it for us, over to recreate what it would have looked and felt like. But we could do that.
I really like that idea. I really like that idea. And another call out to anybody that might be watching this: if you've had anything similar, if this is making you go, "Oh, this makes me think of something that happened to me," we really do want to hear from you. We've got an email address. We'll probably put it up at the bottom here. Just reach out to us and drop us an email, because this is what we're trying to generate. We're trying to actually start to understand each other's experiences and kind of start pinning some of this stuff together. It's not just farmers in America that this happens to.
No.
It happens to us over here as well. We just don't want to admit it.
That's because we've all got a nice stiff upper lip and we like tea. Tea is the answer to every problem that we face here in Britain.
It is. But we've got Trump, right? He's about to start disclosing stuff, and this is going to be more of a topic, and it should start to resonate with people to go, you know, a couple of years ago I thought I saw something. We are the friendly people you can come and talk to.
We are.
Yeah.
We are the friendly UAP network. Don't you guys forget that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what it's all about. Just a thank you, Dave, for sharing them. Is there anything else sticking out that you might want to mention about any of this stuff, or do you feel like you've given us enough detail?
I think I've shared, really everything. More than I ever typically share. So, like I said, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to share it. And, if people ridicule, I'm really sorry about that. But it's my experience.
If they do, they're not welcome. That's not what this is about. This is not what it's about. Well, thank you, Dave. I really appreciate you letting me question you a little bit.
So good.
And I'm sure there's going to be people watching this screaming at the video, going, "Why did you ask him this?"
Okay.
Drop us a comment as well.
Drop it in the comments.
We'll come back to you and answer it.
I will, definitely.
Yeah.
We answer all the comments, so if you drop a comment, we'll reply back as soon as practical. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash a like. It really helps out the channel. And make sure you tune in next week for another fast-paced episode of UAP Network. I'm Dave.
I'm Kyle.
Thanks for watching.
Dave, do we even know what we're covering
next week? What are we
week?
talking about next week? Should we do
We've got a list. We need to go to the list.
Should we do the deep dive of some of the latest releases? Because there's some exciting footage out there. Let's do it.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff. We can do that next week. Cool. Looking
We're
forward to it already.
Break the mold next week then. So we've been talking a lot. Next week we're going to look at some videos that are new released. There's the 7 new Pentagon release files. We'll have a look at those. Me and Kyle have been doing some research in the background of some European footage that's been released through the governments and stuff. So we're going to have a little look at some of those, and we'll just pick them apart. We'll just have a bit of analysis. Kyle and I will vibe off of it. We can have a chat. You guys can join in for the chat. Share in the comments. Let us know what you want to see. That's all for this week though, guys. Thanks for watching UAP Network.